Hello and welcome after the coffee break. We know you enjoyed your coffee, and if you haven't yet finished it, then you can leave it next to your computer and listen to the answers and questions about the reports and struggles behind them, because now we're going to have a dedicated Q&A session for report creators who are participating in the report competition. The deadline is in 2 days and 1 hour until Sunday morning. So this is the last moment. And if you're struggling with some issues now, you can still solve them, frankly speaking. But if you will get a challenge on the Saturday's night, then 99% chance no one will be able to help you. So definitely use the session to ask questions now. And we're welcoming Ivis Pavlos from ZoomCharts, who will be going through some questions which arrived in one of the 3 emails and wherever. And you can also use the left side of the screen, sorry, right side from your side, to have and ask questions and forward your questions. Ivis, we're very happy to hosting you today. I don't see your face yet, but I want to see your face.
It's a very amazing face, right?
It's very amazing face. Yes, I see you. Welcome live, and the floor is yours now.
Thank you, Davis. Welcome back, everyone. So yeah, quickly just doing some couple of things in the background, but essentially what I wanted to cover today are some points I wanted to address before we go deeper into the questions. One of them is I'm happy to announce that the submissions forums have been live from yesterday. We already have some first reports being submitted. Some of the things that I wanted to quickly cover is actually the submission form itself. So I'm going to quickly share the screen, just a second. There we go. All right, so once you're in the event page, don't forget that you need to log into your account, click on the account button, and right here you have submit the report. Once you click on it, you're going to be welcomed with this submission form right here. And right here, what you need to do is don't forget you need to upload your PBIX file. So for example, just find the one you have created. I'm just going to choose a random one right now. So for example, let's go with just a completely blank contest PBIX. There we go. We added this one. Don't also forget to add either YouTube or Vimeo link regarding your video where you explain on how to use it, what's the kind of the problem situation that you're solving, and what is the main target audience for the report. So paste that link right here. And the other thing is that I wanted to emphasize is don't forget to add the publish to web link to the reports. When it comes to these reports, one thing I wanted to quickly cover is, so I'm going to publish this to the services. Right here, I'm just going to go to, I don't know, my workspace or Ivis test space actually. Let's just publish it right here. Let's give it a second until it gets to the web. There we go. We can click on this link right here. It's going to take me to the login page. Automatically signing in. For those of you who are creating submissions, do not forget that you need to log in with the event account, not your personal Power BI accounts that you have within the company or individual ones. And afterwards, click here right on the ellipsis. Once you click on the ellipsis, hover over embed, and here you have options on how to share. So for the event itself, just to make sure that we have all the access to the report so that the jury can access it and we can actually go through it, you have to choose this publish to web option instead of website or portal. The difference between these two options is that when you publish it to web, you don't add an additional level of security by having to log in with a user that the report has been shared with. And the other thing is that, like I said, once you use this website or portal, you're just going to, kind of add an additional layer of security. But for this contest, it is unnecessary. So just make sure that you're using publish to web option with in the brackets public. Click on it. Yes, create the embed code. There we go. And right here, you have the link to the actual report. So just copy this one. Go back to the submission form and paste this one in. Because so far what we already seen is, just a minor kind of inconvenience in the beginning is some users have submitted their reports with the other option, which just adds another layer of login, which in this particular case is really unnecessary. A quick way on how you can double check this is that link at least the very beginning of it needs to look something like this. So app.powerbi.com/view, and afterwards you have your ID for the report itself. If you want to double check it, one thing I kind of recommend you to do is just copy the link and open up browser in incognito mode, paste in the link, and try to open up the report. If you're not having any, sign-in forms or login information, it means that you have published the report successfully and in the right format. Just a quick thing I wanted to cover here, so there's no confusion about how you should publish it to the web. So yeah, this is one of the things. The other thing is, like I mentioned, we already have some first submissions coming in through the submission forms. Few comments about not just those submissions, but in general. Don't forget that when you're creating the reports itself, one of the aspects that we're evaluating them on is the UX and design factor. So, there's a lot of resources available online, which tells you about the color palettes that you're, kind of recommended to use, just to make sure that the colors don't try to overlap with each other. So for example, if you're using something, let's say in an orange background or something like that, and having yellow numbers on top of it, it's not really easy for the user to see, or kind of the same behavior. So similar colors, sure, they look great in, for example, when you have it in the visual that are just right next to each other. But if all of the report is in similar colors without any accent colors, it's just really hard for the user to focus on what's important and to read the actual results for the tables, for the visuals, and these sort of things. Another thing that I wanted to cover is, so Wednesday, all of you who have signed up for the report creation contest, or at least signed up as a report creator, all of you did receive this email right here, which adds a little bit more kind of a guideline or samples on what you can do with your reports and what data sets to use. So right here, you can quickly access the data sets. So it's going to take you to a OneDrive, and here you can see we already added either a couple of Excel files. There's also this adventure work sample, which has a link to the actual Microsoft provided public kind of data sample with databases and these sort of things. And also, if you open up this Excel file right here, so sample reports from Microsoft documentation, you can see that they also added a couple more links, which not only cover, for example, one thing is they have really great data sources that you can at least use for this contest itself. But also, if we open up one of the links, you can see that it tells you a little bit more about the data sample itself. So what are the main KPIs that you can track with it, and these sort of things. So, like I mentioned this a couple of times already throughout the sessions, and that is, don't forget to use all the available materials that you have on the internet, right? There's a lot of YouTube videos, there's a lot of forum posts. The community for Power BI has always been really welcome to kind of question and answer sort of format. So don't kind of hesitate to go into the forums. If you have any questions, just ask about them. The community usually responds relatively quickly, especially because, everyone's in different time zones. So that's one of those things. And another thing right here that I wanted to cover is right here. Where was it? So we had this sample right here. Here you have all the sample links or anything. In the chat, probably Davis can do the same thing as always, just paste in my email address. So if anybody needs it, you still have, a couple more hours to reach out to me so I can get back to you regarding some specific setup scenarios or anything like that. If you have any issues with the setup, I can really help you in this time when it's going to be time for, a few hours before the submission. Most likely I will just not have enough time to get back to you so you can fix the issues, record a new video, these sort of things. So just make sure you're using your time properly. When it comes to the report itself, one thing I kind of recommend you to go through again is, like I said, the color palette. So make sure that all the KPIs are easy to read. They're relatively aligned to each other. You don't have a lot of kind of blank spaces. You have some sort of alignment or layout for the report, these sort of things. Yeah, these are some of the things that I just quickly wanted to cover before we go into the Q&A part of it. When it comes to the actual questions, Let's just see what we have right now. So these are the questions for previous session. So for report submission is written, do you need to embed a link for the report? How do you do it? So like I quickly covered right here, once you have your Power BI desktop file completely ready, click on File, choose Publish, Publish to Power BI. Just give it a second. It's going to ask you to save the changes if you have done anything there. And the other thing is going to ask you for the workspace where you want to publish this. And for ZoomCharts event accounts, you have two options right here. So you're going to have either My Workspace or Zoom Factor Workspace. Choose Zoom Factor Workspace, select this one. Just give it a second to kind of upload. In this case, it's telling me that I already have the same report already available on the services. So I just want to replace it. Click on Replace. Give it a couple or seconds or maybe a minute, depends on the size of the report itself, of course. So just give it a little bit of time to load in. There you go. You see a successful message. If there's going to be some sort of an error, it's going to provide you with a more detailed explanation why the upload was unsuccessful. If you had successful upload, click right here on this hyperlink. It's going to take you to the login page. In my case, I already was logged in. For those of you who are doing this for the first time, you're going to be asked to enter your credentials for the event account. Just enter them in, find a report which you found. We can actually go to the actual kind of main page. So right here on the left page, you have workspaces. Choose the workspace where you uploaded the file. Click on it. Click on content. Uploaded to the wrong workspace. Oh, there we just needed a second. I'm impatient in some certain scenarios, so right now we found the report. Click on this one, open up right here. Hover over the ellipses on the top menu right here. Hover over embed and choose publish to web. Do not choose website or portal. Publish to web is the one you need to use. Click on this one, and then you're going to ask to kind of, if you really want to publish this data source for public availability. In my case, it's already providing me with the embed code because this is something I did already kind of a few minutes ago. Once you uploaded your file to the services itself and publish the link, here you're going to have the link to the actual report. Like I said, copy this one. If you want to double check if it's accessible for everyone, open a window in incognito mode, paste the link in. Make sure you know that the report loads, everything's okay. You can quickly go through page navigation right here by clicking on the numbers itself or just going left or right. Depends on what you want to quickly check there. And if this one's working fine, minimize it, go to your submission form. Let's see. No. There we go. Go to the submission form and paste the link right here. There you go. All right, next one. I may have missed something, but where are challenges listed? About the challenges, so for those of you who had signed up as a report creator, like I said, on Wednesday, we sent out a follow-up email to kind of help you out with these cases. And in the email, you can see right here, we emphasized again on the extended deadline for the submissions. You have your simple data sets. And if you scroll down a little bit lower, here are some of the ideas for sales reporting problems that you can solve with the data sets. And also what we also tried to kind of do here is add a couple of sessions which are relevant to these sort of reports, right? So what main KPIs do you need to track, how to create these applications, these sort of things. So I hope this answered the question for the person who asked this. All right, let's see what's next. Okay, how do you add the visuals? Right. So for those of you who are having some sort of difficulties with adding the visuals, we can go through this experience once more. So I'm going to sign out from my account. I'm going to close this report right here. I'm going to go to the Zoom Factor account. Yes, I want to leave the submission form. So right here you have your account email and password. Don't worry, I already changed my password, so you can't really get to that account. But what you need to do here is click on Contest PBIX file. It's going to download the actual file for it. You can either click on it to open it. I'm just going to open up in folder, double click to open it. And one confusing thing that could happen, and that's just something particular to the way that Power BI works and how it loads up the data. So once you open up your Power BI file, you see I was prompted with a sign-in form. So what I need to do here is just open up the browser again, copy my email for the event. Give it a second to load up next things. Certain things are in Latvian, so just disregard that. Now type in your password. Oh, wrong password. So just again, give it just a minute or a few seconds to kind of have access to all the resources and everything. So as we can see, it started to add the visuals. So it's just loading all the resources and everything. It takes a while, but it's because it's the first time you're opening up the report. So just give it a couple of seconds. You can close this window as well. In certain situations, it could be kind of annoying, but just click multiple times on the X because for some reason it doesn't update. It's what it is. So for example, one thing that could have happened is something like this, right? You open up the report and you only have one visual right here, and you don't have any of other visuals. So all you need to do here is just relaunch the same PBIX file. And the reason why this happens is because when you're launching the Power BI file itself, it's trying to create the connections and load up all the resources you have access to. If you're switching accounts or signing in for the first time, the Power BI file just doesn't have that kind of relationship fully understood. So you need to relaunch the file to load in all the necessary assets. So what I'm doing here is just closing that Power BI file, going back to the download tab, opening up again contest 1, the file that I just downloaded. Once more, give it just a bit of time to kind of load in all the resources and everything. And a way on how I know, that the report is still loading and something's happening in the background is because once I hover over these icons or pretty much any element, you see I don't have any highlights or tooltips, which just means that, the Power BI file itself hasn't really finished processing everything. So for example, you can see here, now it's stuck. That's because something's happening in the background and the Power BI is still loading. So just give it a moment. It's always like this. When it's a presentation or a session, it's gonna take its bloody time. All right, so we waited a little bit more, and right now you can see I have all these visuals available right here. If for some instance they don't really load up and you did the same thing a couple of times, you already restarted the Power BI file, but you still have none of the visuals, or for example, 1 or 2 visuals, don't worry about it. You have access to all of the visuals, and all you need to do is simply click on the ellipses right here. Click on Get More Visuals. So you're going to be prompted with a window like this. And instead of kind of searching for our visuals in the app source, you have a separate version available for you. So just click on My Organization, and you can see that all visuals have been added here for the convenience of it. So you don't have to look for any other visuals. All of our visuals are right here. If you are looking for some other visuals which you want to use to enhance the reports, sure, right here's the app source, so you can look for different visuals that could help you to enhance the reports even more. So for example, in one of my reports that I was showcasing previously, and the one that's actually being added as a sample to your reports, I've used this visual right here called the chiclet slicer. So for example, if you want to add this visual to the visualization pane, just click on Add, give it a second to load in, and you can see it's being added right here in the custom visuals section. So yeah, this is how you re-ensure or make sure that you have all the visuals available for you. When it comes to adding data sources, again, not really rocket science, but it could be confusing at the very beginning, I get it. You can either choose one of the options right here, which has the most common data sources, or you can click on More, and here we can be prompted with all the connectors to different data sources. So you can choose, it's going to be either from a direct file or database, Power Platform, if something comes from the Azure services, online services, other, for example, if you have your files kind of shared on the online environment, for example, I don't know, a CSV file that you're taking from GitHub or Kaggle or something like that, you can quickly choose also the option to import data from a web page. So just click on the web, connect, and provide a URL for the data. It's not really a rocket science. I mean, get that it's going to be maybe confusing in the very beginning because you need to get used to the format of it, the layout of things, and this sort of thing. But if you have any questions, like I said, don't hesitate, reach out to us. We're here to help you to create these reports. All right. Don't see any more questions kind of coming in right now. Couple of things that we could be covering is kind of go through the sessions again, for example. So there are certain things that regarding the visuals itself or regarding the contest that we have covered already previously. So I highly recommend you, especially since you're a report creator, to use these filters right here at the very top. So just choose report creator, and this filters out the sessions that were intentionally meant for report creators, or if it was a combined audience. So filter the sessions out, and then you can look for a certain session that you wanted to learn about or to utilize some of the tricks that you were kind of wanting to have there. So for example, if you wanted to see kind of how to use bookmarks to switch visuals, you can do this by, for example, opening up all this session on Monday. Just scroll down, and right here we have a recording for the session itself. So for every single session, in order to find a recording, simply log in with your account. Yeah, that's one important thing. For example, if I log out, go here, open up the same session, you can see that instead of a video, I have view recording. Once you click on it, you're prompted with a login page. So here you just log in with your account details, and now I'm seeing the video. Few small minor things, but it's just a process of making sure that you have access to all these videos and everything. So yeah, use your time, use the resources that we have provided for you. So all these sessions from Yulia, Aldis, and different other report creators from the community. Scott was covering, for example, how we can use the graph visual to kind of have a more dynamic value chain and decision tree kind of process review. On first week, we also focused a lot on report creation, different KPI creation, how to utilize, for example, forecasting features, what visuals to use. So for example, let me just see where it was. I think it was in Friday or Thursday. Let's just quickly go through these. I think it was this session right here, where all this focused on also different KPIs. Just lower the sound, just trying to find a certain part of the presentation where all this also focused on the fact that, for example, what's the difference between using something like a gauge visual and why you should use, for example, a bullet visual instead of a gauge to kind of look at certain KPIs and the performance indicators. So yeah, use all the resources that are available for you. If you have any questions, we're here to help. So you can send them directly to me. The email is in the chat. Or if you missed it, you can scroll down to the bottom of the page right here. And here you can see we have also an info email. So just click on this one or just copy it and send your questions to whatever kind of concerns your reports. All right. So
there is one last question in the backend. Maybe show the submission process.
Submission process. Sure.
Yes.
Let's click on the account. Click on submit report. So this is where you choose your Power BI file, like I said. Go to downloads, and I'm going to just use one of the reports that I was showcasing throughout the sessions. So you saw the upload was relatively quick. Right here, I have my PBIX file available. If you want to update or, let's say upload a new version of it, just log into your account and you're going to have this change button here as well. As far as the videos go, I don't know, let's just quickly go to YouTube, find some sort of video that we already have there. I'm just going to take one of the samples right here. So there you go. That's the link to my YouTube video. That's going to be my amazing submission. So yeah, YouTube, Vimeo, or these two main kind of platforms for sharing videos. Afterwards, next thing is publish to web URL. So through that, we already went. File, publish, make sure you choose the right workspace. And once you have the link for the report, in my case, I already had it previously. So copy the link to the already submitted report. Go back to the web source, paste in the link. Of course, you agree to the terms and conditions, because let's be honest, you kind of have to do it in order to submit a form. Once you agree to these, click on submit, and you're going to be welcomed with a submission successfully kind of accepted message. This is just to ensure, that your submission has gone through successfully. If you have any questions, you also see here is the email to reach out to us. And for example, right now, what I initially did, for example, in this case is I submitted my first iteration of the report, right? It might have, for example, different video later on. I could change the report location and everything like that, but this is my first submission already done, so I ensure the fact that I have already something at least submitted. In the future, if you decide that you want to use a new version of the report, change the video links or anything like that, like I said, click on the account tab, or when you open up the website, click on submit report, and all the information has been saved for you right here. So if you want to upload a new file, just choose file, upload a new report that you want to use here instead of it. Change the links for the YouTube if you create a new video, publish, add in the link for the updated report, agree to terms and conditions again, and submit the report once again. So that's how the process and how you can actually upload multiple iterations for the reports, just to ensure the fact that you have something submitted by the deadline, which you can see right here is in 2 days, 17 minutes, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 seconds. Okay, we go through that. You can leave the submission. Yeah, that was.
And yes, there's a question. Can I just use subtitles if I cannot speak professional English?
Sure, you can use subtitles, but when it comes to the actual kind of, audio, what I really recommend is still try to talk about the visuals and the report you have. We're not going to judge on, fluent English or not. What we really want to have there is more of a human interaction where you explain us what's really happening there, how you can do this, and what information have you provided. For my videos as well, for example, where I, go through kind of webinars or pre-recorded sessions about our visuals, I always have the voice and I always have my subtitles as well. Because I know in some certain cases I can start to talk really fast and somebody can maybe, for example, don't get along too fast, or they just want to make sure that they can understand every single word that I say. I have subtitles as well as a secondary option. So add both of them. One thing about the videos that I wanted to mention and emphasize on is the fact that in the terms and conditions, it specifically mentions that within the videos, don't have anything that can identify yourself, right? So don't tell your name, where you're from. So kind of introduction to you is really unnecessary because the videos itself are sent to the jury. And when we want the jury to be, as unbiased as possible. So just tell about the reports, and don't forget that, sending these reports to the jury with your name isn't going to really change anything. It's just going to make the jury, for example, I don't know, mark you lower because you didn't follow all the terms and conditions. But if you get to the top 10 reports, your name is going to be there, your picture maybe, I don't know, I kind of forgotten about the layout for that, but the information regarding the actual winners and submitters of the report is going to be in the winners section for the reports itself. So everyone is still going to know who created the report and who submitted it, what kind of tools or what problems you were recovering and these sort of things. Everything is going to be provided by us. So you get the recognition. Don't worry about that. We're not going to take the reports and say that, yeah, we did this.
There's an internal follow-up to the question about subtitles and speech. Does it mean that the person still needs to speak, or are subtitles enough without any voice?
I don't think we have any strict criteria as to that there definitely needs to be a voiceover. So if you really don't want to talk about, you just use the subtitles and that should cover it.
Okay. And then there's a question about what if you notice that there are personal information in the data from the reports, they will be disqualified or?
Yeah, so if you are going to have personal information, like I said, an introduction to yourself or your company or whatever, unfortunately, you're not following the rules that you agree to in the terms and conditions, which means that the report and the submission is just going to be disqualified. So just make sure that you're following the rules. That's why they're there for, right? To make the process as unbiased as possible. So no relationships come into matter here or anything like that. The reports is essentially what we're trying to evaluate. So yeah, follow the rules. That's why they're there. If you want to make sure that you know what are the rules, if you open up ZoomCharts.vi, at the top menu right here, you have a section for competition. Click on that. It's going to take you to the fold with all the information about the submission process and everything. But right here, you also have an overview of the competition requirements. If you click on it, it's going to open up a PDF form. And if you scroll lower, you can see these are the terms and conditions for the report contest. So just scroll through these points, make sure that the video is eligible, you have covered all the entry criteria. And also a reason why I would say, get familiarized with this document is because if you scroll lower right here in this section 9.62, you can see the scoring criteria. They're not something that we decide on the fly. You have all this information available for you. So as you can see, for example, how well the solution is presented in the video. So is there explanation? Was it briefly explained? Was it fully explained? All this has been divided into particular evaluation subcategories. So to ensure that you have the highest chance of winning, make sure that you have provided all the information that is going to be covered when evaluating the reports. You can see that we had another question.
Yes, about enabling embed code.
Okay, how to enable embed code in Zoom Workspace is not possible. I will double check this. If Zoom Workspace doesn't work and you don't have the publish to web services option, then what I just quickly recommend you to do, because I definitely know we're going to have it from the personal workspace, just publish the reports once again. I'm going to open up a different report since this doesn't have any data or anything. I can't really publish it. Mute Davis. All right, let's go to the download section. Open up, for example, Power BI Zoom Factor Waterfall report. Give it a second to load in. There we go. Click on File, Publish to Power BI, and you choose My Workspace. We can actually go through this process right here now. So My Workspace, click Select. Got this one right here. Now we're being transferred to the account. Yeah, I'm not having access to the report because on the service page, I'm logged in through my organizational account. So that's a mistake on my side. So I'm just going to quickly go there and sign out. No, so now it decides that I'm signed out. Perfect. Let's try it again. No, not gonna work. Okay. Other option that you do have here is do it manually. Don't click on the link, but right here. Okay, I've signed out. Power BI, sign in. Open up the first link, click on sign in. Please cooperate with me. All right, so now I'm successfully signed out. Let's try that again. Power BI sign in. This link right here. Click on sign in. And I'm going to use another account. For this one, I actually need to access my email because I don't remember it for the event account. mainly because it's random. So enter the email, enter the password. So let's sign in. Don't want to save the password. So my workspace is reports. Here's the report I uploaded. Here we go. And if I click on share, no, not share, but if I click on the ellipsis, or where was it right now? File, publish to web. Okay. So we haven't enabled this. All right, this is on our side. All right, yeah, this one's on our side. Apologies for this one. We're gonna fix this as soon, immediately after the session. So yeah, apologies for that.
Okay, this might be a good time to pause, and you can finish on starting to fixing some bugs.
Yeah, it's a it's a real life application. These things happen, and some things might get oversighted. But yeah, unfortunately, you probably noticed as well because we've been here for almost half an hour and all this wasn't here. Unfortunately, these sessions are live, so other things happen in life, and all this unfortunately wasn't able to make it today. But don't forget that he has provided a lot of tips. He has provided a lot of useful samples throughout the session. So again, wanted to emphasize on, go to the website itself, filter out the report creator sessions, and just go through these sessions. You don't have to go through all of them. Find the ones that you at least cover the points where you don't feel strong enough or you wanted to learn more about. Go through the videos, make sure to apply some of the things, because trust me, some of the tips and tricks that have been said throughout these sessions can really distinguish a report from a novice level to an advanced level. So yeah, that would be it from my side then.
All right, Ivis, thank you very much. Thank you being such a wonderful specialist in answering all of the questions throughout the bootcamp for over I wanted to say 2 years, 2 weeks for now, possibly also 2 years later. And thank you very much for being here. And we're looking forward to still forwarding you all of the questions which might come up until the submission deadline. So you're going to have a fun weekend.
Oh, definitely.
Okay,
all right,
thank you, Ivis.
Have a great day.
Say ciao to the rest of. Great. Before we run into the final session of this bootcamp, let's have a lunch break. We're hungry, we need to stretch, we need some drinks, so be back in 1 hour, less, maybe 50 minutes, but not in this session, but the part 2 session. So go on the website to check the latest link in 50 minutes and join the part 2 session, where we will travel again to Russia and talk about the analyzing data with artificial intelligence in Power BI. So that will be the closing session for this bootcamp, but the bootcamp will not end yet. So we have the report submission, then the top 10 evaluations next week, and the final announcement of winners on next Friday. So see you back in 50 minutes in the other sessions link for part 2.